Do we only use 10% of our brains? This is a very popular myth. There is a lot of people out there who believe that we only use 10% of our brains, and the rest is basically useless. But where did this come from? Well, it's not actually true. There's a few different ideas out there about where this might have originated, but the most likely place is a misunderstanding of some early 20th century psychology research. And as far as the actual neuroscience of it, it turns out that almost all of your brain is active at some point in time. When you look at an image like this one, which shows brain activity during a specific task, it looks like most of the brain lights up. Different colors indicate different levels of activity, and in this particular study, the participants were just resting. So what does this mean? Well, it means that almost all of their brain was active. Now, it's true that we don't use all of our brain power all of the time. We don't need to, just like you don't need to run at top speed all the time. But the idea that we only use 10% of our brain is just not true. We use all of our brain, just not all at once. You can think of it like this. Your brain is made up of lots of different parts that do different things, and these parts work together to keep you alive and functioning. If you only used 10% of your brain, you wouldn't be able to do very much at all. You wouldn't be able to move, speak, or even think properly. So where did this myth come from? Well, it's not entirely clear, but it's likely that it originated from a misunderstanding of some early 20th century psychology research. In the early 1900s, researchers started to study how different parts of the brain are involved in different behaviors. They would remove parts of the brain and then see what effect it had on the animal's behavior. They found that removing small parts of the brain didn't seem to have much of an effect, but removing larger parts did. This led to the idea that maybe the brain is kind of like a computer that has different programs running on it. And if you only use 10% of your brain, you can run these programs more efficiently. That doesn't really make sense, but that's where the 10% figure came from. So, next time you hear someone say that they only use 10% of their brain, you'll know that it's just not true. We use all of our brain, all of the time, even if we don't realize it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you can learn more about the brain and other topics in neuroscience. Thanks for watching. See you next time.